Episode number 7 of the show From was one of the most intense episodes we've had in a while, and we learned a lot more about some of the characters of the show and the monsters that roam the woods at night. Let's start with a chapter analysis of the highlights of this episode. So far, so good. Party at Colony House. At the beginning of episode number 7, we see the people of Colony House preparing the house to celebrate Fatima's 1-year anniversary since she arrived in the town. We immediately see what looks like a disillusioned reaction from Ellis towards the preparation of Fatima's celebration, as he starts to drink ahead of time and unsuccessfully tries to have others join him, including Victor. We also see Julie telling Fatima how it is a little weird to celebrate the day she got stuck inside the town, with Fatima responding to her that the point is to celebrate survival. We see Fatima pulling out a sweater that she had hidden from Trudy, explaining that it is Ellis's favorite sweater and that she wouldn't allow Trudy to get her hands on it. We see Julie lost in thought while staring at Fatima as if enchanted, which prompts Fatima to say, "What?" Julie then tells Fatima that she makes the town seem like a normal place and that she's very special. Once again, this scene seems to add to our previous analysis of episode number 5 that Julie may be developing a crush on Fatima or Ellis, but in this episode, it seems clear that her crush is on Fatima. We can also see how Julie looks displeased every time Ellis comes around, likely because she sees Ellis as an obstacle to a potential relationship with Fatima. We also see Victor being disappointed as Donna tells him that they ran out of peaches, his favorite snack. And as that, Victor tells Donna that in all of these years, having his peaches was the only thing that never changed. But those are gone now. This made me wonder whether they had a finite amount of canned peaches to begin with, or they were somehow provided by the town itself, similar to the cattle or other food. As the party starts kicking into higher gear, we see a drunken Ellie starting to make a scene, as Fatima suggests to him that maybe he should slow down. Without provocation, we later see Ellis trying to start a fight with another Colony House member, who was explaining to someone else that the town may be a pocket universe. After Donna de-escalates the situation and Ellis leaves, the other member of Colony House says that Ellis is an animal just like his mother, to which Donna responds by punching the man. We could view this scene as another way for Ellis to physically discharge the unresolved trauma and frustration he actively tries to suppress. A common characteristic we could see among the people of Colony House is that unlike the people of the town who rely on order and the hope of one day going back home, the people of Colony House seem to more strongly ignore both the surrounding and inner chaos of their lives. And this even applies to Victor, who so far seems to actively be avoiding aspects of his past, likely due to trauma as well. As the party goes on, we see Trudy feeling lonely and sad that not a lot of people seem to like her at Colony House, and Fatima comforts her by gifting her her favorite sweater, and Trudy promising another gift in return. So far, I found it a little bit ironic how many of the people at Colony House can feel so lonely despite being surrounded by so many people in what on first impression looks like a big family that is all about love. Another highlight of this episode is how we saw Fatima casually and intimately kissing another member of Colony House, known as Stacy, which left Julie confused and seemingly uncomfortable. Julie later asked Fatima about her kiss with Stacy, telling her that she thought she was in a relationship with Ellis. Fatima replies that Ellis is her person, and that the kiss with Stacy was just fooling around, which they sometimes do. Then we see Julie asking Fatima if she can kiss her, confirming how Julie has had a crush on her all the time. Fatima is a little surprised by Julie's suggestion, and Julie awkwardly and quickly retreats, embarrassed for the situation. An important fact to consider is that in this case, Julie will still be a minor, while Fatima is an adult, which means that Fatima most likely sees Julie as a younger sister instead of a potential love interest. On the other hand, this scene revealed an unexpected yet unsurprising layer to Fatima and Colony House, as Fatima's relationship with Ellis seems to be polyamorous to an extent. This also further displays the theme of the Norse goddess Freya, who embodies love and lust, and is also representative of Colony House, as previously covered in our videos. Freya's symbols are flowers in general, especially the daisy flower, which patterns are printed not only throughout Colony House, but also all over the town. One of Freya's colors is also light blue, like the dress Fatima is wearing in this episode. And we also know that nearly everything in the show, including costumes, is very deliberate, as expressed by the production team of the show itself. Family time at Kenny's house. In episode number 7, we also saw Jade obsessively drawing the seller's symbol on one of Kenny's books. When Kenny tries to get him to stop since his mom just finished dinner and it's time to eat, we see Kenny angrily asking Jade to stop drawing on his book, like a classic sibling dispute. We later see Kenny's mother, Deanne, forcing Jade to come downstairs for dinner, like another classic mother and son moment. I couldn't help but think that maybe this dynamic between Jade, Kenny, and his mother may also serve as an opportunity to establish bonds that these characters previously didn't have before the town, but maybe needed. Later on, Jade discovers that a double page in the notebook of the deceased town resident we saw in episode number 6 contained what looks like an old Polaroid picture. In the picture, we see a man holding what looks like a book or Bible. And in the back we can see the diner and a younger Victor carrying his lunchbox when he was still a kid. The lingering question is, who is or was the man in the picture? It is possible this scene may lead to Jade trying to connect with Victor to obtain more information about his visions and the contents of this mysterious notebook, Jim's radio tower and the power source. Going back to the Matthews, we find out that Jim is planning to build a radio tower to be placed at the top of Colony House, which will likely be the highest point in the town. We also know, based on available previews, that in the upcoming episodes, this radio tower will deliver unexpected results and consequences that will shock Jim. What Jim is doing also serves to display how everyone in the town seems to be performing special roles to help solve the town puzzle to the best of their abilities or expertise. We also saw Tabitha making progress with digging as she tries to trace the source of the power cables. We also know that these efforts will deliver surprising results in the upcoming episodes, with Tabitha getting closer to the answer to the mysterious power source. Despite all of these exciting developments, the nicest one to see was Jim and Tabitha rebonding amidst the chaos, as their relationship seems to be healing despite the circumstances. Boyd and Catri. It's time to have a talk. Father Catri finally reaches out to Boyd to discuss his past and to reveal the fact that he's holding Sarah in his basement. Father Catri shows the secret bag we saw in episode number 6 to Sheriff Boyd Stevens, and we see Boyd confronting Father Catri about the bloody shirt and the meaning of it all. Father Catri shares a heartbreaking story about how when he was a priest, there was a boy in his congregation who one day stayed lingering at church without his parents and after the service. The boy seemed upset and asked Father Catri if he could stay for a while. Father Catri needed to prepare for evening mass and didn't want the kid's parents to worry, so he gave the kid a candy bar and sent him back to his parents, even though the kid didn't want to leave. Father Catri later felt the need to go by the boy's house, where he finds out that the boy was the victim of abuse and the boy's drunken dad had killed him by breaking his neck. The boy's dad was yelling at the boy's corpse, telling him to get up, while nonchalantly telling Father Catri that the boy was just fine. Frustrated and traumatized by the situation, Father Catri explains to Boyd that at the moment he lost self-control and started beating the boy's father until the bones of his hands started to break, in a way letting his own inner monster out. This explains the bloody shirt and again may explain Catri's punitive reaction towards Frank's neglect of his family due to his alcohol use. Catri then told Boyd that the next thing he remembers is holding the same bottle of alcohol while standing on a bridge, when he then heard the voice of God for the first time, telling him that he had a new path and that he needed to start driving. 2 hours later, Father Catri ended up in the town. Boyd asks Catri why he's telling him all these things now, and Catri then reveals that he has Sarah in his basement. Clearly, Boyd wasn't going to take this news lightly until Father Catri explained the context of Sarah's voices and how they may be the key to solving the nature of the town. It takes Boyd a while to process this information, and Catri now tells a more receptive Boyd that the three of them, Catri, Boyd, and Sarah, will venture far into the woods in search of answers, and that this was the reason that God sent Father Catri to that town. Boyd also tells Father Catri that all of this sounds like a joke, a sheriff, a priest, and a psycho walk into a bar. However, Boyd seems to be very open to the idea now. The last of good times. Back at Colony House, we get a follow-up on the relationship between Kevin and one of the monsters. We see one of the monsters manipulating Kevin into letting her in by arguing that she wants to be with him and that she didn't choose to be made the way she is. The monster promised Kevin that if she lets her in and closes the window quickly, no other monsters will be able to get in. We then see Kevin letting the monster girl in, who superficially seems more human than one would think. Kevin even points out that her hands are warm and not cold. The monster girl and Kevin begin to make out and everything seems to be going fine until the girl starts transforming into one of the monsters and bites Kevin's tongue off. Later, we see the monster girl washing her hands and trying to clean her clothes while she looks in the mirror. There seems to be something peculiar about the monster's behavior that almost suggests that they truly have no other choice but to do the things they do. This may not be entirely an expressionless face, but one of both pain and emptiness. The alluring and deceitful behavior of the monsters again echoes the similarities with the serpent of the Garden of Eden, or the devil himself. Deceit is therefore another theme of the show, noting not only how the monsters actively try to deceive people, but how the people of the town also lie to themselves and others. One could argue that the philosophy of Colony House itself relies on self-deception to create an illusion of paradise among the chaos, with the town group representing the other end of the spectrum. Chaos ensues at Colony House after the monster girl opens a window, letting all the monsters in, and proving that once a monster is inside, they have the ability to let others in. Trudy ended up being one of the unfortunate victims of the monsters in this episode, and we saw the people of Colony House storming out to escape the monsters and seek refuge in the town. Julie and Victor also make their escape, but first Victor makes sure that he doesn't leave behind his drawings. One could argue that Victor's collection of drawings may be the closest thing to Father Catri's allusion to a 74th book of the Bible, given that the drawings in a way depict a chronology of the events that have unfolded and are unfolding in the town. Most of the people of Colony House escape in a van with Donna, while Ellis and Fatima save themselves by creating an enclosure within the house with a talisman on the wall. Victor and Julie, on the other hand, follow the ghost kid into the forest, who leads them to one of the faraway trees. Victor tells Julie to go inside and that he will follow. We then see Julie come out of the closet of the cellar like Narnia, and this may be the answer to how Victor survived the first massacre and re-emerged out of the cellar the next day. Finally, we see the people of Colony House showing up outside Boyd's place to seek refuge. As they try to get inside the police station, one of the monsters tricks Father Catri into looking back and slashes his neck. Catri's wound appears to be very serious and he starts bleeding out and asks Boyd to pray with him. And then we see Father Catri drawing what looks like his last breath. We should note that Father Catri is being credited in the remaining 3 episodes of the show, but this could also mean that we will see him in recaps of previous episodes or flashbacks. Here ends episode number 7 of the show From. We will continue exploring the show's symbology and interpretations of this episode later this week. If you would like to stay tuned with further analysis and interpretations of the show's episodes, please make sure to press the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell.